Welcome to podcasts recorded live at the Center for Spiritual Living in Portland, Oregon. We have many programs, classes, and workshops developed just for our online audience. To find out more, go to our website at cslportland.org and look under the Online tab. Our mission is to open hearts, ignite minds, and make a difference. If you'd like to support our center and its video podcasts, you can donate online at cslportland.org/donate. Allow us to become part of your extended spiritual community. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are most welcome at the Center for Spiritual Living.
Good morning and welcome to the Portland Center for Spiritual Living. We are a Science of Mind community that teaches spiritual principles to transform your life and make the world a better place. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. All we ask is that you stay open to the possibility of changing your entire life simply by changing your mind. My name is Nancy Ashley, licensed practitioner here, and I welcome you, and I thank our wonderful band for their Prelude music. So, did you know that you don't have to be a Facebook user to have a Facebook or have a Facebook login to watch us? I didn't know that. Well, you don't. Just follow the link on our website, and it'll take you right to our Facebook Live services, which here are at 11 o'clock every Sunday morning. You also can watch it later on YouTube or listen to the podcast that comes out, our audio podcast, after the fact. So that's good news because I'm not a Facebook user and I thought I couldn't do Facebook Live. So we have our regular Wednesday meditation, and this week our Wednesday meditation at 7 o'clock is our annual gratitude service that will be hosted by Reverend Larry King and licensed practitioner Sylvia Kearns. So it's on Zoom, and that means that the link will be on our website and also on the email. We'll have our traditional sharing of gratitude, as well as preparing to be more grateful for all the good in 2021. We are continuing with our Friday lunch with Reverend Larry, which he was kind enough to start way back when the pandemic started. So that's at 11:30 on Friday noontime. And after a check-in, we'll be talking about the power of gratitude all month. And again, the Zoom link for that is on our website. We also have Zoom links, online Zoom groups for the Social Justice Book Club and for our 12-step program for women. So we're planning a lot of holiday services, and you'll want to join us on Facebook Live, which again you can do through our website, for our music-filled Christmas Eve, Thursday, December 24th at 7 p.m. And then our Golden Bowl service, which is always done at the end of the year, is on Sunday, December 27th, also on Facebook Live. And we'll have a special online method of submitting your intentions for 2021 to be witnessed and blessed. You may recall that usually we do this live and submit our intentions, and then they're prayed on, and our papers are put into the golden bowl to be blessed throughout the year by the practitioners. So this year it'll be on Zoom, on Facebook Live, and we'll be able to continue that. So are you on our mailing list? If you are not, you want to go to our website, cslportland.org, and on the front page, homepage, there is a place to sign in with your name and email address, and then you will get the weekly email from Reverend Larry that tells you everything you need to know about life. So our flowers, again, are courtesy of Kat Jacobs, thank you. And special music today is our own LaRhonda Steele, and of course the Friends Band, so thank you for all of that. So sit back and relax, because we know that somewhere between the music, the meditation, and the message is exactly what your heart came to receive.
Thank you, Nancy. I didn't know you didn't have to have Facebook to watch our services. That's a beautiful thing to know. That's a beautiful thing to know. All right. Let's breathe together and bring our awareness to right here, right now, as we enter our time of meditation together. Get comfortable and let's go inside. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. My God, I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, I'll go inside to find my God. I will leave this world, I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Go inside to find my God. Go inside to find sight to find my God.
And so we do go inside, because that is where Spirit God lives within us. And knowing that the power of life, that presence of love, the wisdom, the joy, all of these are qualities of God or Spirit, higher power, whatever we call it. There is only this one essence that is everywhere present throughout the universe. Every part, every person, everything is part of that oneness that I know to be God. And so knowing that the love, the wisdom, the wholeness, the unity are all part of God, that means I am part of God also. And all of these qualities are inherent in me. I am imbued with all of the love and peace and harmony as my birthright. It is within me. I need only go within. And so knowing that this is true for me, I know it's true for everybody, for every person hearing us, every person in our community, every person everywhere is a part of God. And so knowing that, we know that these beautiful qualities are within us and that we have access to all of the love, all of the wisdom, all the time. It is part of who we are. And so just giving thanks for knowing this is part of the gratitude that we are celebrating this month, that we know that all of what we want, what we need is available to us. All of the love, all of the peace and harmony, all of the wisdom is within us and available to us as we go within and quiet our minds and listen for that still small voice that tells us exactly what the next right step is, knowing that everything is unfolding perfectly. And so we give thanks for knowing that each one of us is a blessing. Every person, everything is a blessing of Spirit in our lives. And so just giving thanks for this, knowing this truth that we are all fully part of the wonder of Spirit, that we are all part of that community of God. And so I give thanks for this, for knowing this truth and knowing that it is always available to each of us. And so I just release my word into the action of the law, knowing that the law of mind is always manifesting that which we claim, that which we know to be true, which we believe, and it is done unto us as we believe. And so I release this word into the action of the law. I let it be, and together we say, and so it is. And as we go into the silence, I just invite us to consider the greater community of all the blessings that we are and that we have, that we are all one in this blessing.
We welcome you back from the silence. This morning, our first song will be Gratitude by Miss Karen Drucker. And I know many of you may know this, and we invite you to sing along where you are. Yes. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind, Gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. So grateful, so grateful, so grateful. I'm so grateful, so grateful, so grateful, so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. And I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me and gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, and gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. Sing it with me, y'all. I'm so grateful, 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 yes, I'm so grateful, so very grateful, so grateful, yes. I'm grateful for love, I'm grateful for life. Let the feeling of gratitude just flow through your mind, your body, and your soul right now. Oh, yes. We've got so many things to be grateful for. Yes. Bring them to your mind right now and sing with us. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. And I'm so grateful, and I'm so grateful, 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 so very grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, so grateful for everything that I have, my community, the world, for love, for joy, for peace. I'm so grateful, so very grateful. I'm so grateful, so grateful, so grateful.
Well, I guess you know what I'm grateful for. Thank you, LaRhonda. Thank you, Friends Band. You probably noticed that LaRhonda and I have guided us through a whole month on teaching about gratitude and Thanksgiving to lead us up to, guess what, Thanksgiving week, right? No surprise, I suppose. And I think where I want to start today is with our Thanksgiving joke. And oh my gosh, I got to tell you, it's a stinker. I'll warn you right up front. But I think it's a good place to start because it illustrates one aspect of gratitude that maybe we just need to do something about. So the joke is called the Thanksgiving Blessing. A week before Thanksgiving, a fellow in Phoenix calls his son in New York and tells him, "Son, I'm really sorry, but I have to tell you that your mother and I are splitting up. I just can't put on this show anymore. There's no worse feeling than being alone when you're supposed to be sharing your life with someone else." Well, the son is freaked out, tries to talk sense to his father. "Pop, what are you talking about?" And the father replies, "We just can't be together anymore. There's nobody around here to support either of us in making this huge decision. But honestly, I'm sick of talking about this. I'm sick of being with your mother. Would you please do me a favor? Would you call your sister in Chicago and just tell her what's going on?" Well, the father then hangs up, and the son frantically calls his sister, who's equally distraught and freaked out. She exclaims, "Like heck they're getting divorced. Leave this to me. I'll take care of it." So she calls the father. But he just sits by the phone, refuses to answer. His wife notices and says, "What's with the phone, honey? Why are you just letting it ring?" "Just confirmation for Thanksgiving, dear. What a blessing. I'm sure everyone will be home." And so that is one way of getting your blessings, right? To actively court them, to find the goodness through even a little, shall we say, lying and cheating. And it's interesting, we're using Diana Butler Bass's book, Grateful, this month. And she does talk about one aspect of gratitude as being that kind of quid pro quo gratitude, where I'll do something for you, but there's an understanding that you'll do something for me back. And sometimes that involves some cajoling and other activities that aren't necessarily our gifts of freedom. They're not necessarily us wholeheartedly sharing what's good in our life with others, when there is that expectation of the fruits coming back to us of something in return. And Diana Butler Bass talks about this idea of giving the blessing. And you'll remember we've even had a couple of homework assignments this month, one around doing meal blessings. And last week we were introduced to the idea of invocations and benedictions, which are yet another form of blessings. So I've been encouraging you to do blessings all this month, but what is a blessing? What is one of those gracious blessings? Not something that we've had to had to work at getting, but rather one that we just literally can absorb, the blessings of the world around us. Well, I think I want to follow this up with a quiz. And for those of you who are quiz shy, let me make it even worse. This is a quiz on your knowledge of the Bible. So towards the end of the book, Diana Butler Bass does an interesting parody of one of my favorite Bible quotations. So let me read her parody and see if you can guess what part of the Bible she's making a little bit of modern day fun at. She says, "Blessed are the rich, for they own the best stuff. Blessed are the sexy and the glamorous, for everyone desires them. Blessed are the powerful, they shall have the control of the kingdoms of earth. Blessed are those who get everything they ever wanted. They alone shall be satisfied in the kingdom of heaven." And finally she says, "Blessed are the famous, for their reward is eternal life." So what do you think of that? So certainly it's a parody of a very famous quotation from the Bible. Many of you I know are going, wait a minute, that sounds like the Beatitudes. That sounds like the beginning of the Sermon on the Mount. And you're right. But why do you think that the author we're using this month is poking fun of our modern day views on these subjects? Well, it's because she thinks that we've gone kind of cockeyed from the idea of what a blessing really is. She believes that instead of seeing God as our source of all good, that it is through Spirit, through God, that truly we are blessed. She says we're leaving that up to outside agencies these days, right? That it's having the most money that brings the blessing. It's having the most likes on Facebook that brings the most blessings. That it is truly the rich and the powerful who are the only ones who can provide a blessing. And what is interesting, of course, is she's harking back to a centuries-old idea of where blessings come from. So the Beatitudes, of course, Jesus is presenting this at the beginning of the Roman Empire to his followers. And where, during that time, in biblical times, do blessings come from? More typically, they're coming from figures of authority. If you go back to the emperors of Rome, or even earlier than that, when the Jewish people were enslaved in ancient Egypt, where did the blessings come? Where did the source of really all material good come from? Well, it was from the king. It was from in the case of Rome, from the emperor. And those figureheads were treated as though they were gods. In fact, in ancient Egypt, the pharaohs were called gods. And so here we're getting a little bit of twist on things, right? We're no longer saying that our good should be coming from the authorities here on earth, but rather a higher authority. And that's the purpose of Jesus and his seminal teachings on the Mount, is that there is a higher authority, there is a higher place that is the source of all good, that we do not need to look towards material gain in order to feel blessed. We don't need to be rich to be blessed. We don't need to have a certain kind of employment or a certain kind of lifestyle. That the blessing truly is here for all of us, if we can open up our hearts in such a way that this can happen. So let me read from Matthew 5, and this is the introduction to his Sermon on the Mount. He says, "Now when Jesus saw the crowds, he went up on a mountainside and sat down. His disciples came to him, and he began to teach them. He said, 'Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall be shown mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. And blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.'" So let's talk about this a little bit. First of all, if you read a little later in Matthew, the crowd was astounded. The crowd couldn't believe what they were hearing because of that previous material that I talked about. The crowd were used to their blessings coming from the emperor. They were used to their blessings trickling down through a system of slavery and indenture that meant really their wages, their means of life, their belonging to a trade or whatever it was predilected on the emperor being okay with that. The people who were in charge allowing that. No one had their own land, no one had the ability to set up their own business unless it was okay with the authorities in the town that you were in. So the idea here that Jesus would just say, no, wait a minute, all of you are blessed, and there is a higher authority at work here, not just the state in which you live in, not just the civil authorities here. Truly, God blesses you. The other thing I want to point out is he's not saying that there is any particular need to be poor in spirit, to mourn, to be meek, right? He's just saying that those people have equal access to the blessing. So this isn't about throwing away all your worldly goods so that finally you can get a blessing. No, he's saying that no matter who we are, no matter what our station in life, even this list of people who are so clearly disenfranchised, he's saying that they too are absolutely worthy of and may receive the blessings of God. Well, this was extraordinary, and no doubt people were shocked. It was the complete opposite of the way their worldview worked. And I have to say, it's not unlike that worldview that Diana Butler Bass portrayed in her send-up of the Beatitudes, right? Here in America today, well, really throughout the world, we tend to think once again, like in olden times, that our blessing is based on our Social Security checks or the income we receive from outside force, the company we work for, or some other means. We tend to think that our blessing comes from the amount of good that we can accumulate our arms around or have in our bank accounts. We tend to think that our blessing is dependent upon people and outside forces. And I'm here to tell you, like someone did 2,000 years ago, that our blessings come from God. That truly we are blessed. Now, the other thing about the Sermon on the Mount, and you'll notice it was billed not as a sermon by the person writing Matthew, right? He was billing it as a teaching moment. He says his disciples came to him and he began to teach them, not so much an inspirational talk, but rather a teaching moment. Because if you follow on with the Sermon on the Mount, what does Jesus, the master teacher, do? He tells us how we may receive the blessings of God. It isn't just that we all deserve it. That's covered in the Beatitudes. That's clearly the message, the promise, if you will, that there is good for us and we shall have it. And then he goes on with the rest of the Sermon on the Mount to tell us how we might accomplish that, to tell us how we can use the good grace of God to enrich our lives. And guess what? It's not that hard. It's actually pretty simple. The rest of the Sermon on the Mount is telling people to be good citizens. The rest of the Sermon on the Mount is about us, what we can do to really bring down not only the blessings upon ourselves, but upon society in general. It's very interesting. He tells followers to remain salty or true to themselves and to the teachings that he's giving. He tells them not to hide their light, but to be willing to go out in the world and illustrate more of these teachings, to bring the light not only to themselves, but to the world. He tells them to shine brightly. He tells them also to be agreeable with one another. He tells them to treat women better. He tells people not to lie or to cheat. Remember my terrible joke? It's like our blessings shouldn't come that way. Our blessings are based on truth, righteousness, and kindness. He reminds people that blessings come from God, not from other humans, not ultimately from the state that we live in or society. He reminds us that we also have a responsibility in seeing the blessings and in circulating the blessings. It's a very interesting sermon or teaching moment. He basically is telling people it is through our virtues, through being honest, through being kind, through allowing reciprocity to be the nature of things, not to coerce our blessing, but literally to give away our hearts, our means, our goods, in order for the reciprocity of Spirit to bring them back to us. And so he continues on that vein for some time, explaining that for us to see a blessing, we must first become a blessing. You know, it's interesting because, of course, that's one of the primary teachings also of the science of mind of Ernest Holmes, that reciprocal nature of the universe, that what we wish to experience, we must freely give away. If we wish to feel blessed in our own lives, we need to be the blessing to others. And in Jesus's teaching, this couldn't be any simpler itself than to be kind to one another, to treat each other well. The golden rule is restated, of course, in the Sermon on the Mount. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That idea of true kindness, of extending a hand of friendship to people, even where it is unwanted. He talks about being willing not to just walk with a mile with someone, but to go even further, go beyond where we're naturally inclined to be kind to people, to be compassionate to people. And this, he says, is what fuels that blessing. This, our simple kindness, our simple honesty, our simple willingness to be there for one another, this is what powers that idea of blessing. This is what allows God to reinforce that goodness and give it back to us, to fill our cup to overflowing with even more blessings, because we, in our willingness, so freely give of ourselves. And so it's not, of course, how many likes you have on Facebook. It's making me laugh a little bit because I know many of you are watching this right now on Facebook, right? It's not the medium that's important here. It truly is this message of graciousness in the world. And so when he goes over in the Beatitudes, this list of those people who have been, who have been silenced, who have been put on the back burner, these people who have been disenfranchised, the poor in spirit, those who are mourning, the meek, the hungry and thirsty for righteousness, the merciful, the pure in heart, and so on. These people, like all people, have full access to God's blessing. Each of us, in our willingness to serve one another, to show kindness to one another, to be able to stand up for one another, to allow other voices to be heard when they have been disenfranchised, this truly is the secret not only of being a blessing to others, but this opens up the blessings of God itself. So this month, we've been talking about different levels of gratitude. We started out the very first week talking about the idea of being grateful for the things that are brought into your life personally by other people. And so gratitude for our friends and for our family and how they show up and how they're part of our love life and our circle of friendships and so on. That ability to internally see that someone has given you something and that feeling wells up on you in gratitude. And then we moved on to talk about how does that work in families? How does that play out in our circle of friends? And can we even involve our circle of friends in finding more of the we gratitude, as Diana Butler Bass calls it, that idea that there is gratitude for all of us, not just for me. And you'll remember last week we even talked about how we can invite the people that we know to feel more gratitude through the idea of a blessing. Well, the ultimate blessing is the blessings that are always here, always available from God's good grace. The ultimate we blessing, the ultimate of me sensing that the world is for me, never against me, and that truly I can be grateful for everything. This is that, what do I want to call it? That celestial blessing. The idea that we are always blessed, and all we have to do is be aware of it. All we have to do is look for it. All we have to do is shift our consciousness just a little so that we see that 99% of the world that is so right and so wholesome and so kind. Now, I know we're getting all kinds of messages from the world right now that we're in trouble, that the political system has gone bankrupt, that global warming is spiraling out of control, and that we'll never be able to take it back. We're being told that a virus is wreaking havoc on the world and that we're all doomed. Isn't it true? Doesn't it feel like we're in the middle of the zombie apocalypse or something? If you were just to listen to some of the news stories and some of what goes on social media. And yet those blessings promised by God, those blessings that Jesus so beautifully articulated in the book of Matthew, that has not changed. We may be ever more aware because of the media of the things that are going wrong in the world, but I'm here to tell you, it's still a drop in the celestial bucket. There is still an infinity of good for us, an infinity of ways that our hearts can be filled with gratitude if we but look for it. Now, I have a bit of homework for you this week, and I will say, this comes closer to the homework that I was given as a child going to church. And so you might think that this is a point of me trying to shame you. And I have to tell you, I don't do shame. So if you're starting from my homework to feel like, oh my gosh, this is quite a set of homework, take it with the idea that I'm pitching it out. I'm simply explaining how the idea of a blessing works. If we wish to be blessed, we have to be the blessing. And so your homework this week is to see the ways in which you are a blessing and for you to see the ways in which you are not a blessing. Has your heart perhaps become hardened to certain people or certain ways of being? Has your kindness level maybe diminished towards certain segments of society? Have you perhaps taken up a kind of ruthlessness or a kind of unkind behavior towards certain people or certain groups of people? If you wish to truly be blessed, to truly feel blessed, we have to be that blessing that Jesus talked about. We have to be willing to be compassionate towards all, even those people that he classified as our enemies. We're invited to show compassion. We're invited to show friendliness and kindness. This is how that friendliness and kindness gets returned to us through this divine law of reciprocity. We must be it if we wish to see it. And so your homework this week is simple. As you're going through the week, just evaluate your own level of compassion, your own level of kindness towards others, your own ability to see beyond some of the things that look like they're going wrong in the world, and to seek out with your family and friends and society at large a way to be kinder and softer, to treat one another better, to honor one another's voices that perhaps have been disenfranchised. It's the most basic of messages, and yet it's one that I think that we tend to overlook. We tend to think that in order to be blessed, I have to excel at something. I have to achieve something in the world. I have to amass some level of goodness, whether it be material wealth or some level of specific authority. And the truth couldn't be more different. To really welcome in the blessings to your own life, it is only the most simple acts of kindness that we have to have for one another. It's only that willingness to regard one another with compassion, to regard one another with an openness to hearing new voices, new ways of doing, the openness to be a bit of the peacekeeper when there are frustrations and anxieties going on. It's time for us to reach back into some of those, hopefully childhood lessons that we learned on how to be a good citizen, how to be a good friend, how to treat one another with kindness. This is ultimately the secret for Spirit's blessings upon us all. How we treat one another is simply amplified in terms of how Spirit treats us. If we wish to receive a blessing, we must first be the blessing. Well, I want to summarize here. Today we've taken a look at God's willingness to bless us all, as carefully spoken through the Beatitudes and the Sermon on the Mount. We've talked about up-leveling our gratitude out of the personal and into a wider planetary kind of gratitude. Being grateful for the many blessings that God so willingly gives to all of us. Truly, it is God's good pleasure to provide for us all richly as we look for it and as we become that mirror, as we put out our own blessing, the blessing is magnified and returned to us. We also studied Jesus' essential message from the Beatitudes and his primary teachings of good behavior. Nothing more complicated than good behavior. Yes, if we follow a few tips on kindness and compassion and treating each other well, the heavens themselves open up in a true and lavish display of blessing, something worthy always of our gratitude. So I'm going to close with a quote from the book and a prayer. She says, "Gratefulness grounds our lives in the world and with each other. It always locates the gifts and grace that accompany our way. Gratitude is an emotion, but gratitude is also an ethical way of life. It is a disposition, an awareness, a set of habits, but ultimately gratitude is a place. Perhaps it is the place where we find our truest and best selves." Let us pray. There is one power and one presence. Only this one thing, only this one blessing. And what I know about God as a blessing is that blessing is given freely to everyone. Every person, every place, everything, every situation on this planet has access truly to the blessing of Spirit. I know that means me. I know as we enter into the Thanksgiving holiday, I'm feeling so very blessed. Blessed in my home and hearth, blessed in good food, blessed in the riches so gloriously bestowed on me and my loved ones through the grace of God. And so I extend that blessing to everyone on this planet, regardless of how they may feel, regardless of what might be perceived as disenfranchisement. What I know is that the blessings are still there. It's not based on wealth. It's not based on hierarchy. It's not based on who has the most or who does the most. Each of us equally blessed in the consciousness of God. And so for this week, I claim that each of us has the ability to open our eyes to receive that blessing, the ability to look around and see all of the good, not only the good currently here for us, but also the good waiting as we bring our own lives into that greater alignment with Spirit, that greater alignment with kindness and decency. Truly, the heavens open up in the biggest blessing of all. And so for this, I give thanks. For this, I simply am aware of the blessings of the world itself. I release this prayer into the activity, into the action of the law. I let it be, and together we say, and so it is. Thank you so much for being here today. Now is our time of conscious giving. I know so many of you are supporting us online through making donations at cslportland.org/donate. I know some of you are using Tithely. I couldn't thank you enough, and I would extend just a short blessing. If you'd like, you can repeat after me. Graciously I give from a place of love, knowing that as I give, so do I richly receive. Bless you all. And let's have some more wonderful music from LaRhonda Steele and the Friends Band.
Thank you so much, Reverend Larry. So as we ground ourselves in these teachings of gratitude, I think it's befitting that we dance it out. Don't you think? I think so. We've got a wonderful song by Miss Karen Drucker called My Religion is Kindness. So we invite you to get up on your feet, to move around, to feel this gratitude. Yes. My religion is kindness, my church is nature, my God is a feeling that lies deep inside. My job is to be conscious, my path is forgiveness. My religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. Now everyone has a story, and everyone has pain. But when we strip away our masks, we find that we're really all the same. It's in the simple things we say and do that can mean so much. A simple smile of connection, a simple loving touch. My religion is kindness, my church is nature, my God is a feeling us deep inside. My job is to be conscious, my path is forgiveness. My religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. Today I'm gonna ask myself, what more can I do to be a radiant child of God and let my love shine through? I'm gonna let my heart be my guide to give the best of me. I'm gonna share my joy, share my love, and give it bountifully. My religion is kindness, my church is nature, my God is a feeling that lies deep inside. My job is to be conscious, my path is forgiveness. My religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. Oh, dance it out, come on. The hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came running after. She said, Jack, tell me, what can I do to help you ease your mind? He said, hold my hand and just be kind, and I know I'll be fine. My religion is kindness, my church is nature. Oh, and my God is a feeling that lies deep inside. My path is forgiveness, my religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. My religion is kindness, and my church is, oh, and my God is a feeling that lies deep inside. My job is to be kind. Yeah, every day.
It did feel good to dance it out. It totally does. Thank you all for joining us today. Before I close, just again, a quick reminder about our Wednesday gratitude service. You know, we've been doing the gratitude service on Thanksgiving Eve for, I think, 10, 12 years now. Does that sound about right? And so please join us this Wednesday. All of the details for clicking into our Zoom teleconferencing system or online, we'll be able to really experience each other's gratitude. There will be kind of the online version of an open mic. It should be kind of nice, allowing people to express their personal gratitude for the year. So you'll want to make sure that you take advantage of that. 7 o'clock this Wednesday. All right. What I know for sure is that there are blessings for us, and on this Thanksgiving weekend and beyond, the degree to which that we can really visualize those blessings, really see them, is the extent at which gratitude blossoms in the world. What the world does need right now is more of that gracious heart. And so please extend that to your friends, to your family, and even strangers this holiday season. Thank you so much. Shall we close with a song?
Our closing song is Blessed Always. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Rest in God and say amen. Blessings to you.
If you happen to be in the Portland, Oregon area, we'd love to have you visit in person. The Portland Center for Spiritual Living is located at 6211 Northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. We have inspirational services at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. every Sunday. We also have many programs, classes, and workshops developed just for our online audience. To find out more, go to our website at cslportland.org and look under the Online tab. We have a variety of content dedicated specifically for our online listeners. Our mission is to open hearts, ignite minds, and make a difference. If you'd like to support our center, you can donate online at cslportland.org/donate. Our website is also the place to learn more about what's going on at the center or to contact us. Allow us to become part of your extended spiritual community. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are most welcome at the Center for Spiritual Living.